You're now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. How do you get those ideas for what questions to ask? Let's say you get a good artist in front of you and you're going to interview them. How do you come up with those ideas?
So I do a lot of research to be transparent, but also I think I have quite a unique skill in terms of imagining what their answer is going to be before they've said it, if that makes sense. So when I'm preparing my interview structure, I'll have certain points that I want to go into, and I'll kind of think in my head, so I know about this person's music, I know about this person's background. If I ask this question, what are they likely to answer? And if they answer that, what is likely to be a good place to take the conversation after they answer that? So yeah, I would say my kind of unique skills are questioning, but also preempting what the answer is going to be before it's come out of their mouth. And obviously you're not going to be 100% accurate at all times, but I have found that I'm quite successful in terms of when I think they're going to say this, it normally happens, which means I normally have a good follow-up topic for that specific answer. And if you're able to map out the journey loosely from start to finish of a conversation, it means it will flow quite well as well. So even though, yes, I want to go into maybe 5 different areas of their life, if you can imagine the direction it's going to go, you can fit those pieces of the puzzle together quite well. So I would say that.
Love that, yeah. One of the things which I noticed, I didn't realise I did, and I know you do from what I've heard of my research on you, some podcast hosts will have pre-list of questions and then they go through it line by line.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes that I notice they've ignored, let's say you've said something then and I've got a question in my mind thinking I'm going to ask that later, or they'll go, Lawrie, great point, I'm going to touch on that later.
Yes.
For me, I'm like, that breaks the rapport, right? Breaks the flow of the interview. Let the guest guide you as well as the host.
Yeah. It's tough though, isn't it? I think like interviewing is a very underrated skill, and I feel like to be honest with you, if you're a successful or a good interviewer, it's a transferable skill that can be positioned anywhere in life. But I think people do underestimate how hard it is to, in the back of your mind, right, I know that I don't need to, but I want to touch on these points because it's important for the conversation. And even you talked about clips, maybe some good clips are going to come out of it, but my guest has just said that, I want to go into that, and then you lean in on that, and then you forget the other thing that's in your mind. It's not easy, and when you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 different questions swimming around in your mind, you can get flustered. So I feel there's a perfect balance between authenticity and questioning off the back of questions and paraphrasing and all this sort of stuff, but also having kind of that structure that you can refer loosely back to. But yeah, it's not easy at all, until people are sat there and they're doing it and then they go, fuck, like I've forgotten what I was going to say. Like, it's really not easy.
Definitely. It's funny actually, because you're describing what I'm going through as we're speaking.
Yeah.
And now my brain's going into, am I doing that? Because that's what you do naturally, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, as I was thinking then, I already knew roughly what I want to ask you. And then I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like reordering it depending on where our conversation goes. So it's kind of like a inception moment of which dream level am I in? Like, am I in a dream, you know?